Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Adrian Reddix, and I want to talk to you today about one of my favorite pieces of tech, and it's called the Raspberry Pi. Is it delicious? I just wanted to do that joke. It's not funny. I know it's not funny. What is the Raspberry Pi and why is it important? So, the Raspberry Pi is a single board computer. That means it's one board. Everything you need is right here. There's no different cards, anything you got to hook to it. Everything you need is here. It has all the traditional things you would find on a regular computer. It has 4 USB, I think it's 2.0 ports. You have an Ethernet port, you have a HDMI port, and a couple of pins and things like that on it. So it looks like a motherboard you would see in a regular computer. It also has 1 gig of RAM in it. That doesn't sound like a lot, but stay with me. I'm getting somewhere with it. It's a computer from the UK. It's one of the UK's best-selling computers. So, if you go to the Raspberry Pi website, they're all about teaching mainly kids how to code and learn about STEM or tech careers. I think that's what their main goal is. And being that this Raspberry Pi is $35, around $35 for this model, the 3, but they have a newer version that has different size RAMs. And as the RAM goes up, of course, the price goes up. So the low cost, it's easy to learn. It has one of my favorite operating systems. We talked about it before. It's Linux. We'll put it right here. If you follow any of the robotics teams in your local high school or the national championships that they have, you know, there are a lot of those, or you may not know, a lot of those motherboards and computers on board are actually little Raspberry Pis that the kids program to do whatever they needed to do. People make all kind of things out of these Raspberry Pis. They'll make remote viewers so they could. I have a friend who uses the Raspberry Pi in his business where he designs menus for restaurants, and he goes out and attaches the Raspberry Pi to each screen. They're usually TVs, and he can remote access the Raspberry Pis to update the menus, put new items on there, change the pictures up all from the comfort of his home. And this restaurant is in Texas. I've seen a couple of videos where people were using it as the brain to help blind people read printed paper. You know, they would stick the paper under the reader and it read it off to them. I think that's amazing. Another thing that's close to my heart, they had like a Bartendotron or like a automatic bartender that they made out of this Raspberry Pi. Also, another thing I like is they have this operating system you put on there called Retropie. And Retropie is a game emulator, and it'll take something like a Nintendo NES or a Super Nintendo, and it'll emulate the hardware so you can put software on it. And a lot of people have these Retropie images, and Retropie is a great thing. If you don't own the game, you're not supposed to have some of these ROMs. A ROM is software on there. It's not legal, but people do it, and nobody really calls them out on it. So your miles may vary on that one. Also, Linus Tech Tips had a Raspberry Pi, I think it was a Zero, that he used to block ads on his network for things like YouTube videos. If this ever gets monetized, don't do that. Kind of like Brave browser, which we also talked about. All these callbacks. You could use it as that. I've seen people use them as a mirror. They'll make it into a mirror that tells you time, date, weather. It's like a informational thing from like a sci-fi movie that people do on that. People make arcades out of them. It's a very multi-purpose, multi-use device. So why is it important? Why Raspberry Pi and not any of its derivatives like Banana Pi, the Arduino single board, the NVIDIA even got in the game with the NVIDIA Jetson Nano? Why not those, and why Raspberry Pi? Raspberry Pi holds a close place in my heart because it was a point, I know all my stories seem like they're sad and gloomy and I had the worst life ever, but it was some point where when I was in school and my computer stopped working and I didn't have a lot of money to spend, so I decided to go and buy a Raspberry Pi. I already had a TV, and this is how I use it today. I had a TV, I had an old keyboard, I went to the thrift store and got an old mouse, hooked it up, and that's how I was able to continue school without having to spend a lot of money. Because as a desktop, I use Raspbian. This one I hadn't updated in a while. It's using the Raspbian is the operating system that Raspberry Pi came up with to use on the device. It's Linux, just like I said before. And this version is called Jessie. I think they're up to Buster. They have these real cutesy names. You can use it because, like I said in the previous video, I think I another link right here. It doesn't matter much what you can do on the operating system because most things I was doing or people do are web-based and cloud-based. Having something that can get on the internet and run all the application you need to run. Now, you're not going to be able to have 60 tabs open or watch high quality video, but you can play a couple games. They're not going to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but you can play, even Raspbian comes with this shortened small version of Minecraft on it. You can play that. You can play a couple other different things. Raspbian also has things for kids as far as programming and things of that nature. So you can literally, this is the game changer. This is why it's important. You can take a $35 piece of equipment. I mean, it comes with a case, but you can run it without a case. If you didn't have money to buy it, to put it in a case like in pieces, a case like this, if you didn't have the money to do that, you could just take the board, hook everything up and run it for $35. The reason why it's a game changer is because the cost, the $35-ish, it gives you the same capability as somebody with a $3,000 or $4,000 machine as far as accessing resources on the internet to learn, to grow, and to pull yourself out of whatever situation you're in. Also, even if you're not in a bad situation, it's a great desktop to have that's cheap. I mean, it's Linux, so some things don't run with it, but for the most part, as far as a complete great system, the Raspberry Pi is good. I like it. I'll always have one with me. My kids will always have one, and I love it. And that's all I have to say. Did I get cut off? No, I didn't. Okay, I didn't get cut off. Yep, this is a short one. That's it. If you guys liked it, please let me know in the comment section. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, tell me why you didn't like it. Hit me with a thumbs down. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one.